Hi, folks, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt, and the rest of them will be here shortly. Woo! What a day. It's been a busy day. So busy. Such a busy day. Kids are screaming. They won't take a nap, so you hear them screaming. No one's here yet because we had to delay. We had work around the house, which was really awful. It's just been a bad day. Hold on just a moment. So anyway, the rest of them should be coming. We should have, I think Benjamin's going to come. Mikey may come late. CJ should be here. But we are starting because I've only got an hour because I got somewhere else to be. Everyone is crunched for time here. So this was top 5 times you felt awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start because I know the other guys are going to be coming in soon enough. And we'll have them in. All right, so babies are here. Hold on, go play. Yeah, they won't take a nap, so we're going to hear crying here. I was writing down my top 5 times as I was getting my house insulated, which is supposed to really help me out. I thought about one, and one of them, I'm going to say this one. At number 5 is one that I spoke of at the end of the year, or my 12 streams of Christmas, was when I got picked first for the basketball team for that one summer camp. That was really cool, the All-Star game, which there was another kid who was much better. But there was one thing I remember I did that was so awesome because Dad made us practice hitting shots everywhere. And yeah, that is what I'm going to, Bruce. I am coming after this. That's why I'm trying to get this done. Anyway, I got to go see Bruce in a minute. Woo! Anyway, so one of the things was I was playing and shooting, and Dad taught us to shoot every area. We used to be really good at horse, shooting wherever we could. And there was this, man, you can't miss a shot. And I was walking off the court. The next team was going. They said, just how good are you? And I said, this good. And I threw it half court to act like I could make it back. And my intention was to airball it and be like deuces like that. Instead, I knocked it in the hole. Swish. It went swish. The 1 in a million shot, like the dude perfect shot of me, just lugging it half court, and it went straight into the net. And I went, doom, and everyone went, oh, everyone went crazy. I was like, okay, that was supposed to be a joke, but I'm awesome. That was number 5. Number 4 is when I used to. I may be rushing through these, but when the other guys come in, we'll catch up and have them give me their stories. But number 4 for me. I mean, there's a lot here, but number 4, I used to go. Don't touch that, please. Don't touch that. I used to go to a lot of what was it? A lot of concerts here. And hold on, not right now, please. A lot of concerts. It's just so distracting. It's every day on my own with these. All right. So and especially when they haven't had a nap, they refuse to lay down. So now they're extra cranky as well. But I went to one concert. I went to several concerts. I have a lot of concert stories. Maybe I should tell my top 5 concert experiences. This was probably number 1. I went to a 3 Doors Down concert. If anyone remembers 3 Doors Down, I think it's Would I Go Crazy? No, was that Superman one? I can't remember what they used to sing. That wasn't them. Anyway, I can't remember what their big song was back in the day. But I went to their concert and had a great time. But I went around telling everyone that we were going to mosh pit, and it's going to be taking place here when I say go. And I was just introducing myself to everyone right there on the floor. And so when it came, I was like, everyone, 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone started getting really nuts there. Well, 3 Doors Down was like, well, is this guy like the ringleader? So then I started getting treated to, high fives from the band, and the drummer, they were throwing, picks and sticks and everything. And he took 2 of the sticks and he pointed at me and handed them to me. I still have those drumsticks with me. But man, I felt like everyone's going, dude, that was awesome. You know them? I was like, no, I don't know them. But, it's one of those times you felt awesome, right? And by the way, 400 episodes, that feels pretty daggum awesome too. So very happy for that. And I have all the listeners to thank. Now, by the way, once again, just because of the chaos, pure chaos that has been today and me on my own, I wasn't able to do this. You can come on in if you're at the front door. Come on in. Yeah, 1:15 sunset. Bring it. All right, I'll send it to you in text. Okie dokie. All right, come on in. All right, so CJ is here. I just outed myself too on where I live. But anyway, so I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, so I forgot to turn on the recording for Prince of the Universe 400. Same thing for Samoflange. I have zero time here, zero time because I'm in a crunch for time right now. And sadly, these won't be on iTunes. And I wanted them both because I wanted to record them both simultaneously. It's not that hard, but when you're dealing with whiny kids and no one wants to help out, so that's the case. And I'm trying to do a billion things a day. So come on in. CJ's here. Here, move over, Bubba. CJ's here. How's it going, sir? We're live.
Pretty
we're
good.
live.
How are you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're live. Come on in. Have a seat.
What's going on, boys?
We were actually talking about the top 5 times you felt awesome. I've done 5 and 4. So if you want to go ahead and give number 5 and 4, you can go right ahead.
I got to admit, if you did top 5 times I've been embarrassed, I could give you 50.
Yeah, I tell you what. Here you go. There's your mic there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you gave 5 and 4.
I gave 5 and 4. So go ahead and give your number 5.
Okay.
You felt awesome.
Okay. 5. Okay, 5 is I was a kid. And there was this kid in my class who could do this thing with his this thing. Right? And so
I'm glad this is visual.
Right. So it's going to be kind of hard to convey it without video, but that helps.
Yeah.
So I was in the classroom and I asked him, I was like, how do you do that? And he's like, I don't know. I'll do it.
How do you do that? Tell me how you do that.
As an 8-year-old, how he does it. So I remember I worked at it for weeks. And we went to a doctor's checkup, and I asked for extra popsicle sticks, and tongue depressors, and I'd shove them up in my lip, shove them up there, and try to keep it. And then I would try to feel it, and then I'm like, okay, and I'd let the tongue depressor go. My lip would go, come right back down. So I worked at this for weeks. The great thing about being a kid, right?
Yeah.
Work for stuff like that. So I worked at this for weeks, and then we went to. My mom and dad used to work out at this gym, and they had in the center of it, right where you got the weight room, and then there's a snack room right across the way. And we were there after school. My brother and I were doing homework, and I finished my homework. So I'm like, I'm gonna try again. I took my fingers and I had it up, up there against the mirror, right? And I was like, okay. And then I let go. And there it was. Yeah. And I went, yes, I did it. And then everybody in the weight room saw me just, yeah. And so that's
great.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. I like how that's number 5. We can only go up from here because
I just set the bar.
I have one like that, but it's so ridiculous. I wanted to save it for number 3, but I have it was first, second grade highlight that was really big on me. But go ahead, do number 4 and I'll do number 3.
Yeah, no, see, I had to really pick because a lot of my awesome times were when I could make a certain cartoon character voice and stuff like that. I can do Skeletor. Yeah. So number 4 is Trick or Treat story, another kid's story. I think I was about the same age. No, maybe a little younger. I may have been about 7. And that year, I chose to be Batman. But please understand, I wasn't just dressed as Batman. I was Batman.
You were Batman.
Do you understand?
You were the actual Batman. Batman, move aside.
That's right.
There's a new Cape Crusader in town.
That's right. And this was before, so I had to do the Batman voice, but it wasn't the, I'm not wearing hockey pads. This is way before. So I had the, I am Batman. Just as best as I could as a 7-year-old. But it was at my neighborhood, small cul-de-sac. The next door neighbor worked for the police station. He was a deputy. That'll be important later. So we're trick-or-treating around the cul-de-sac. We're having a good time. And we get to this one guy's house. And just how I was Batman, this guy was a pirate. All right. He had the red striped shirt. He had the eye patch, the bandana, the hook. He had the voice and everything. And so he comes up to me and I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect of, oh, look, it's Batman and his fat little sidekick, talking about my brother.
Yeah.
And so I looked at him and I told him, I said, you go to hell. don't ever call my brother fat. And then he took his hook and put it up to my chin. Right?
Oh.
And then he said something about, oh, smart Alec. And I was like, no, I'm Batman. And I hit him and I kicked him between the legs.
No, I'm Batman. And then I'll Rochambeau you for it.
And so, and then we took some candy and ran off. And my mom and dad were right down there by the driveway. They didn't really see. They saw a commotion. And they saw the guy yell, and he called me a lot of bad names.
Oh, my goodness.
Out of his house.
Oh, my goodness.
So here's the next part of the story. The neighbor I told you about? Yeah. So my mom and dad told him, and the guy got arrested.
Oh,
no. And so here's why I felt awesome, because I was Batman that year, right? He called my brother fat. He was being a villain to me, and I got him sent to jail. I was Batman that year. And I got to fight him.
You were Batman, and you sent him to jail. Commissioner Gordon.
I didn't take him to
Arkham.
By,
Harvey Bullock took him away.
That's right. I didn't take him to Arkham. I didn't take him to Arkham personally.
You were looking out the window for the signal for them to call you, and thank you.
That's right.
For putting a criminal away.
That's right.
That is a really awesome moment, actually.
I was like, I was just 4 more Snicker bars in, just waiting. Just like, where's the signal?
Dang, yours is better than mine.
I'll be there.
Okay, well, my number three was when I was in first, second grade, and there was a can drive, canned food, canned corn, canned vegetables. So you donate as many cans. Whoever donated the most cans got to be the king of cans.
The king of cans. Where'd you go to school?
This was in Forest, Mississippi, Covenant. And then the girl got to be the queen of cans.
Okay. The king and queen of cans.
Yeah, before they even had cans.
Okay.
So they have all these cans here. And I really wanted to be the king of cans.
Okay.
And so I remember praying by my windowsill with the moonlight shining on me. I mean, this is a little pillows moment here. You know, precious moments, excuse me, here. And I'm kneeling by, I say, please, Lord, if you make me the king of cans, I promise not to ask for anything ever again. No. I got to be king of cans that year.
Whoa.
I got the paper, the Burger King paper crown, the sash that said King of Cans.
Wow, you had some clout with the big guy.
And everyone got applause. Me and the queen got the actual queen was called Angela King was her name.
Oh,
and I thought, wow, you're a king and a queen. The little joke that we made there. And I standing before everyone, I was like, this is what I asked for. I'll never ask for anything. So I can't ask for anything again. So he said, you want King of Cans?
So
you got
it. Was there like a particular canned good that was your favorite though?
I don't know. We went around getting donations, and a lot of people just donated their extra can of peas or green beans or corn. That was the cans I was collecting.
So
soup cans. It was any cans they were donating it to. I guess a food bank or something to give away
the king of
homeless shelter
or something.
So whatever. It had to be cans, and so they counted your cans.
What else did you get? Did they give you a parade?
No, that was it. Just a sash, a cheap little. I want to say it was a paper crown, and then standing ovation by the teachers in the school there. And I was like, this.
You had to do the
best day of my life. I felt like I was like, I have achieved. This is the apex of my career. It probably was. It's a sad thing. I am king of cans. You will bow to me. I am your king. I sit upon these cans.
Oh,
now I'm about to open up a can of whoop ass on that man for standing down in front of his king, not bowing before me. The king of cans was the big one there. So that was the little grade school one for me.
To look like in that can kingdom. Like you get to open the cans first and get the first goodies out of the can.
I get the peaches.
You get the peaches out of the can first. You get
the cold cream of mushroom. That's what you get. Give me that canned peaches.
All of your preserves belong to me first. This is your tax.
You may drink the dribble of the juice from the can after your king is done. I don't know why I got Scottish all of a sudden. Is there haggis in the can? Anyway, so what's number 3?
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So number 3. Let's see. I had a 3. I did 5 and 4. For 3, so the 2 and 1 are easy, but I had 3.
Yeah, for me, while you're thinking about that, the first 3 I had, like 5 and 4 came immediately. Number 1 came immediately, And then the other one, I knew what it was, and I wanted. This is my number 2, but I'm not gonna say it yet.
Yeah.
I knew what it was, but there were several different instances, so I decided to group them together. And then my cute little one, I saved to number 3 because it means nothing, like yours. You know, it meant nothing, but we felt.
Yeah, it's true.
Like we were the coolest ever, and I was like,
true.
You know what? I did feel like the coolest ever as a kid back then, having that adoration, having that fake crown and fake sash, and thinking, you know, I am a prince of the universe. I am king of the universe here.
I have one.
Yes.
Okay, so I was a little bit older, but we had it's a theater one, and we started doing combat with actual swords. Like they were blunted, but it was like staged weapons. And we had been practicing, and then like we had like these small one-handed swords that you could carry with a shield. It was for Macbeth.
Yeah.
And I got to play Macduff, but they didn't have enough of the single broadswords to go around, so I had to use the double hand one.
Right.
But then I had to have the shield too. And so I felt awesome because they were like, well, we have to give you the biggest sword that we have. And so I was like He-Man, right? I was like, yes, I have the biggest sword. And so we were doing a little fight scene, and then we ended up striking blades at just the right time, and it made sparks.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
And so.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool today.
Yeah, and the rest of that fight scene actually went flawlessly. And it was great. So I felt pretty awesome. I felt like Connor McLeod.
I thought about in theater, were there any like just really awesome moments? There's some awesome moments, but there are more just fun moments.
Yeah, like a lot of
them
anything
else.
Yeah.
Like you and Mikey's competition for the Be Author Award,
right?
And how Mikey could have won it all.
He could have,
but he didn't. You still hold it, right?
Actually, I don't know. I think he did get it back.
Did he get it back?
Yeah.
He didn't do what I thought he did.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No, but
to be in the Be Author Award, you had to do something flamboyant, kind of outside the box, something daring and something a little risque. And I dared Mikey to Teen Wolf at the curtain call.
No, he did not do that.
Well, he was in with a bunch of ensembles. So
there was a guy that did that.
Technically, he could have gotten away with it.
There was a guy that did that once. I can't remember his name. He was part of Tech, and it was for Singing in the Rain. And he had joked the whole time. There was this naked mannequin back there, but it was like a claw, like it was like a flimsy like cloth mannequin. And he had joked. He's like, "I am gonna streak across the stage with that thing." And everybody's like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And he was like, "Hey, this is my last show. I'm never coming back over here." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm streaking with that mannequin." And he sure did. So the red curtain is sitting down. We're talking about times we're feeling awesome, but look, this was just hilarious. The red curtain is down. I'm working tech, so I'm not in the curtain call. Like I'm getting ready to pull up the curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know where he was. And I was like, he's not gonna do it. There's no way. And sure enough, I don't know where he comes from. I pull the curtains up, and as they're coming up, I see him run by. Nothing on, with the mannequin bent over right in front of him, and he runs right across from stage left to stage right. Nothing
that
on.
Is hilarious.
And then the crowd is like, ah! Everybody starts laughing and freaking out. And then he leaves. He goes to the kitchen. No one saw him again.
Wow, that was it. That was truly it for him.
He meant it.
Man, when you go out that way.
That's
I'll tell
right.
you what. My number 2 of times I felt awesome. So there was a summer camp, and I love summer camp. Hey, Michael, how's it going? I love summer camp, and summer camp had a talent show. And at the talent show, I was asked if I could do something. I went, sure. He went, because I don't want musical shows. He said, I want some comedy in there, because everyone's just playing a guitar, playing the piano.
Yeah.
That's all. It was a piano guitar recital. And he wanted to have something different. So he knew I had humor, so I did it. And the first one I did a song, but it was a joke. We totally screwed it up. And it went big. And even he fell out of his chair. I remember laughing so much.
What, you made up the song?
No. It was You've Lost That Loving Feeling, but we were messing it up.
Oh, I see.
It worked just right. It worked just right. So from then on out, I was booked as the curtain call. You know, I'm the last show, and during the talent show, I'm the comedy. And I remember the next year I did a dance. I did bring in music. Everyone wanted to show off their drums. And so I said, hey, why don't you play drums, a little drum beat, and me and this other guy will dance stupid to it. And then I said, I need to step up my game after year 2. And I said, I'm going to involve some of the speakers at this summer camp here. And we, one of those Christian camps, you have speakers there.
Okay.
And we involved one of the speakers, didn't tell anyone. He came out, this is back when Braveheart was big. And we were coming out with face paint, giving quotes from Braveheart, which was the big movie at the time. And then he came out at the end, half of his face painted blue, screaming freedom. And it just, everyone's like, shut up. And you didn't expect this guy who looked like a real big dweeb to come out and do it like that. Just gave it his all. And the crowd just went electric. And I used to have this on VHS. I think I may have gotten converted into DVD. I don't know where they are, but it's all three of us just going, because we're just getting, in acting, the more intense and the crowd is, the more loud you feed off that energy. You just love that. It just supercharges you up. We were charged, man. We were charged. And then I remember one of the last ones I did a comedy bit, and I had, it was T-shirts idea, something on the front and the joke was on the back, and I did all these jokes. And I was making fun of one of the speakers, and everyone was laughing, and everyone thought he'd left, because a lot of times they would leave during the talent show. They were getting on flights that afternoon and going home. They weren't going to leave Saturday. They left Friday to get back home. Well, his plane got delayed, and I went, would you please? Because everyone saw him. Everyone knew he was gone. I said, would you please hide and come back for the talent show and come in at the end and do a T-shirt on me making fun of me? Because I made fun of all the speakers. I lovingly, pokingly made fun. Right. And he came up, and I said, and he goes, what? He said, I don't understand what you want. I said, well, when what was it? When Steve Martin came out behind, that's right, behind, what was it? Who was the Hollywood, the set on SNL? David Spade. Okay. When Steve Martin came out behind David Spade, he was like, oh, and did the whole pat on the shoulder. And he was there. I said, something like that. Well, I didn't know this till way later. He came out acting like Steve Martin is what it was. But he was out of character being all goofy. And everyone was shocked to see him there because they didn't know he was there. And he's like, I got a T-shirt I did for you. And I said something like, blah, 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 you don't have a life, is what I said about him. I said, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you're talking about this and that, then you don't have a life. And everyone's like, oh, and I was like, hey, it's okay. He's not here. So, you can tell him later. You can email him later. And then he came up behind me. And just the crowd started going wild. And I acted like I knew. But it was so good that no one thought I'd faked it. Everyone thought it was all impromptu. He had just snuck out and come out. I mean, that's how no one knew they had already been pre-planned. That's how good that. And I like that. No one thought, oh, he set this up. Everyone thought, oh my gosh, he's here. Matt doesn't know he's right behind him. He goes, Matt Wilkins. He turns me around. Get alive, and everyone goes, wah! And he was so happy. I remember on the plane, my dad got to go on the plane ride with him. And he just said, man, your son, I really like him. He's a great guy. Yeah. Just because he was feeding off that same energy too. Yeah. But I felt awesome every time I did that. And that I was able to trick the crowd. That was a lot of fun too.
And how many years did you do that?
Oh gosh, that was about 4 or 5 years. I think I did that one. Yeah. 4 or 5 years. I think we did. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 years. Okay. 4 years of my college year. Yeah.
Did you pass the ring on to someone else or?
No, but when I came back, I had an image of a guy who did a lot of practical jokes, and there was a bunch of pranksters who were taking things too far, and the counselors. I came back as a counselor. Oh, okay. And some of the counselors weren't happy because they knew I was mischievous back in the day, and but the head counselor said, hey man, we got some people doing some, they're damaging school property and stuff like that. So he said, I'm going to make an announcement about something, and they won't reveal themselves because they know they're going to get in trouble. But I guarantee you afterwards, they're going to come to you, and I want you to report them to me. And I was like, they're not going to, no one is that stupid.
Did he put
but no one is that stupid. Well, what happened is they tied the doors down the hallway together. The thing is, in the case of a fire.
Oh, so you couldn't open the door.
You couldn't open the door. So in case of a fire, that's funny. A fire hazard thing.
I guess that is.
And the campus was not happy with them, and they weren't happy, and they couldn't find out who did, and they knew no one was going to fess up to it. So he said, he said, by the way, we found some rope if anyone wants to come up here and claim it. And that was the inside joke. So only the jokesters knew what the rope meant, because they found it before anyone could open their doors. Right. It was in the middle of the night.
Right, but can you imagine like somebody going, "Oh wait, yeah, that's my rope." All right,
yeah. But no, I said they're not going to be that stupid. Is what I told Mr. Pete. And sure enough, that night they said, "Hey, he said the rope."
No, they didn't.
And they went to me. I went, huh, okay. And I didn't tell them. But then I called him up. I said, "You're right. They came in.
They
Here
came
they are,"
right
and I
to
gave their names. They were impressed by me, and they wanted to impress me. Is what it was.
Oh, I see.
And his name was, I can't remember Mr. Pete's last name, but he knew these guys are just trying to impress Matt.
Oh,
I was like, no, they're not. Who knows? Because I hadn't been to that thing. I said 2 years. It probably was 4 years. I hadn't been in 4 years. I was like, no one even knows me from back then, hardly. He went, I have a feeling they're trying to impress you. And I was like, okay, but I don't see how anyone would be that stupid to say it. And I don't think they're. And he was dead right. So
wow.
Yeah, had to narc.
What do you know?
All right, so number 2 for you.
All right, number 2. Let's see. I think it is when. Yeah. All right. So I got into a wreck when I was about 19. That's not the awesome part. The awesome part was the car I bought with the money. It was a bad decision, but I bought a 1997 Z28 Camaro with T-tops, and it was a very fast car. And I was driving out to the country to go visit some friends, and
she's out.
She's not impressed by these awesome stories.
No, let her sleep. Let her sleep.
So
hey, come on around. Have a seat.
All right.
Whoa.
100, 200, 300.
Yay!
400.
I did not.
Here, I'll take the busted.
I did not agree to get banged on the live camera. I did not agree to this.
Came with the bang there. Come on, have a seat.
Blue rash.
Thank you.
Purple haze. Well, I got to go with the purple haze.
Yeah, I'll get some purple.
Yeah, I apologize. I got too excited and I dropped one.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. Oh, is this going to explode on me?
It will.
Okay, well, we'll avoid that one. Do you want one, sir?
Usually
Oh, it's already
There's
sizzling.
usually an explosion with
It's
a
ready
good
to
bang.
pop.
It's already sizzling.
Happy 400.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Thank you.
You
Thank
did
you.
it.
I'm gonna let this one go.
For some reason, you did it.
Okay.
Why did you do this?
Which one do
400?
you want? Which one do you want? You pick. I don't care. I like them both.
Oh, I love the purples.
Get the purples.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Blue ras.
Why
Blue
did you
ras.
do this 400
Time
times?
to bang. I'm telling you what, 400 times, right? I'm glad you can make
Cheers.
it. Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
yes. All right.
To 400.
To
All
400. There we go. 400
Yeah.
bang, baby. Okay. This thing explodes all over my face. I'm gonna be pissed, but that's okay.
No, I only dropped one. There's only one booby trap. It was for Mikey.
All right, so you keep going.
Where's Mikey?
Mikey's moving a TV right now.
Oh.
And it's my fault because we were supposed to do it an hour earlier, but the installation guys came late, so everything got delayed.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead, finish your story.
Would you want to go back and do some of some Benjamins, or?
We will after you do
Oh.
number 2. That
Okay.
way he'll do 4 through 2.
All right. Well, my number 2 can take a while, so give me a minute.
Go
No,
for
please.
it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got this. I was just telling him that I got into a wreck when I was 19 with the insurance money because my car got totaled. I decided to buy a really, really fast car, and that was a Camaro.
Yeah.
And I was driving out to the country to go visit some friends. It was Emily and everybody went to go visit them. And the day before, I had gotten pulled over. I bought 2 cars. I had one that I paid off, and then the Camaro I bought way before, but it was kind of hit or miss if it ran or not.
Yeah.
It was just a really fast car, and it was a really irresponsible purchase. Then, when I got the other part of my settlement, I bought a reliable car. Well,
Keep going.
I was driving back home from, it was late, but I passed in front of the college, and I got stopped by the campus PD. Well, at the time, I was doing Joey and Gina's comedy wedding, and I had drugs that I would plant on people.
Gotcha.
They pulled me over for having a dim headlight, but when they got me out of the car, it's like, "What's this?"
Oh,
What's
no.
this? And I had like a flask with nothing in it, and he was like, "You been drinking, boy?"
And just to be clear, this is one of the times you felt awesome, right?
No, well, it's getting there. It's getting there.
And I said, snort it up.
Like Super Troopers. We're gonna watch you smoke the entire bag. Oh, please, God, no.
What's wrong, son? You want a doobie?
So, anyways, I had just gotten pulled over by the cops the night before, so I'm heading out to the country in my really fast car, and I see a cop siren go off. And so
Not behind you?
behind me. I was
Okay.
driving past the gas station.
You see
and I
the
saw
lights.
sirens.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, I have 2 choices.
I can try out my really fast car and see if I can make it on cops.
Yep. or I could see what kind of drugs they could find in my car and still make it on cops. And so I was like, why not go for both? I can drive really fast, see if they can catch me. And
YOLO. You only live once, bro. Let's
so
do it.
I did. So I drove as fast as I
You
could.
did
down-
not.
I did.
Really?
I outran them.
Why do you think that they flipped them on in the first place?
Well, okay. So it was a combination of things. I got pulled over the night before.
Right.
And then I was driving. I was speeding. I was look.
And he was really
Seriously.
speeding when they hit the lights.
I was going about 70 down the 50 mile.
I'm glad you're saying this on a live stream.
And,
Yeah. That's not how the law works, you know.
yeah. This come on. And nobody, this is all just it's
There's some
story.
retired
It's
cop
just
gonna
story.
watch this going, "You son of a gun!"
It was that guy.
I knew it the whole time.
The cop pointing at his Saturday morning.
That is pretty cool. That's
Well, so
a high there.
The end of it was I made it to where I was going. I parked behind a bush and I jumped out of the car and ran into the house.
You jumped
hid
through
behind
the
the couch.
bushes?
That's nice.
No, I parked the car behind the bush.
And you got away.
I went
And
and
you
parked
ran.
behind it. I jumped out
Lost
of the car, ran to the house, and jumped behind their couch.
Lost him.
Yeah, I lost them. They never come back for me.
Did you tell him?
But I stayed behind the couch for like a good 20 minutes.
Did you tell
That's
everybody this
terrific.
story?
Huh?
You were
It was
seeing-
at her house. I just pulled up and I was like,
Hey, sweetheart,
And
I'm
I-
hiding from the
they're
cops.
like watching the
Get
movie.
down, get down.
Yeah. They're like watching the movie. I'm running. I'm like, I'm moving, move. Okay.
I was never here.
And then I'm behind the couch, like, what did you do? I was like, I may have outrun the cops. And then I said, just watch the road. I don't know if they're gonna find me or not.
Wow.
And then like 15 minutes, they're like, hey, and I was like, you guys eating chips? And I was
You
like,
guys
behind
eating
the couch.
chips?
I was like, give me some chips. We're supposed to watch a movie. I was like, give me some chips. They're like, no, we're still not. They're not gonna find me. Give me some chips.
You're a criminal. We're not gonna egg and abet
And,
you with our chips.
Emily goes, "That's the man I'm gonna marry someday."
That's right.
That's
right.
That's when she knew.
And that was like my last hurrah with that car. I never.
That's great.
That's
That's
right.
an honorable mention for me then, because it's not on my list. But my first car was a bright yellow Ford Festiva.
Hello.
And I mean a little hatchback, nonsensical car that should never have been made by Ford. And the muffler was gone, so it was loud as heck, standard stick
Yes.
shift and everything. And then I was on the interstate trying to get to school because I went to McDonald's first and I was getting breakfast. And I was on my way to school. And then I was cruising on the interstate, right? And the speed limit's 70. I must have been going 85. Cop is pointed the other direction, getting traffic the other way.
Okay.
And then, but he saw me. He flipped his head around, and I saw him like he was in the median.
I hate that moment.
And I saw him flip his head, and he went
Icon.
straight up,
straight
pointed
eye
at
contact. Oh.
and then I was like, "Oh hell no!" And because he had to get all the way turned around because he was trying to get somebody the other way.
You can hide.
And
before
so
you
I
get to
hauled it into the next exit, and then I got on the Highway 80 or whatever, going the same general direction. And then I came over the hill, and there's a big hill sloped like this.
All right.
Right. And so I come over the hill, and then there's a cop on the other side of the hill, like a full half mile away. But he's literally stopped at blocking both lanes of traffic and turning people around. I realized later he was trying to get me. Like they was waiting for me to come over the hill that way, but I had come over the hill from
But
this
you
side.
came the other side.
And so I was like, what the heck is going on over there? So I was like, all right, I'll just turn around and go the other way. And I look in my rearview mirror, and he's getting in his car when he sees me. And he's like, oh, there he is. And he's coming after me. I'm like, oh, no, it's the same guy. And so I haul it over the hill like it's a blind hill. So I put it back in first gear, fly into 40 miles an hour. And then just like I grew up in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I knew the side roads. And so as soon as I got out of sight, I went, turned, basically e-braked out of the way, and then just zoomed in a direction I knew that he would never think to go. And I got away too. And I got to high school, and I'm like, whew, I did it.
So
I don't know if I felt awesome in that moment, but
No.
but it's pretty honorable mention to me.
That's an honorable mention. So we've done 5 to 2.
5 to 2.
So
already.
yeah, so
Okay.
we want you to go ahead and do 5 to 2. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be changing a diaper off camera, but you go ahead.
That's what happens when you have
Give me.
400
I know.
episodes.
400 episodes.
This
So
is 1, 2, 3,
start
4,
with
5,
number
6,
5.
7, 8,
Keep
9.
moving through it. Keep moving.
All
Let
right,
us
all
know
right.
if
Sorry.
this diaper change makes it to your top 5.
It's not gonna be in my top
He's had a
5.
sad life.
I'll be right around here.
If that's the case.
I've changed some pretty gnarly diapers.
So look, all I have to do, I have several, but I mean, I had a good moment. This was a good fun to think about on the way here. And then, what was the general recap of yours?
Oh yeah.
Whenever-
Well, I told Matt when I got here. I said, if you did another one of top 5 most embarrassing moments. That's gonna be a good. My top
fucking hate
5
that.
was okay. Number 5 for me is why I learned to do this thing like this. the lip thing. I learned to do that.
Okay. All
When
right.
I was a kid, that was a big deal. Number 2, or excuse me, 4. 4 was dressed up as Batman and
Nice.
trick or treating, and I got a guy arrested and felt like Batman. Number 3.
I love it. Wow, how's that not number 1?
3 is what was my 3 was 3 was I did a stage play of Macbeth, and I got to wield the biggest sword because they ran out of the smaller ones.
No,
And
that's
so
great.
we did a certain sword strike that made sparks fly around.
And did you
And
talk
so-
about how you do fight choreography and stuff and all
I
that?
think I've mentioned it, but
Okay,
it's
good.
been at least 300 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done as many.
Professional
Samoflange.
fight choreographer.
Yes.
If you need any stage combat training or assistance with your play or indoor
Yes.
theater, this is your guy.
I learned from Steven Seagal.
Nice.
Yep.
There you go.
But yeah, that was my number 3. And then number 2, of course, was outrunning the
Outrunning the cops.
the law.
Wow.
I do love the show Cops, and I have aspired to be on the show. But you know.
Well, one of the reasons that we had this episode that was inspired this episode is that one episode of recently of Saturday Morning Samoflange, we were talking about I had stood up in the high school band and like motivational speech because my junior year of high school, I wasn't in the band. I wanted to play football, and I played football for a single season, had a great time, felt awesome. Told a good story about that, and then went back to the high school band after they lost in the playoffs and went back to conditioning training, which basically meant just throwing up every day
Yeah.
and working up. I was like, y'all can have this. I'm going back to the band, and then y'all go run your guts out, and it's fine. And I took the motivation though, because in the band or in the football team, we weren't allowed to speak on the way to away games. You know, you had to be quiet and
Oh yeah,
mentally
you got to
focused.
get in the.
You got to
moment,
get in your
right.
zone, right? And then on the band, we were on our way to the championship tournament or whatever it was at the end of the year, and everybody's going to have a great time, you know, just goofing off and whatever. And it irritated me because I was like, "God, this really means a lot to some of us." And,
Yeah.
and I was a senior, and it's my band director. I knew how much it meant to him. So I stood up and banged on the ceiling and gave this rousing speech about being focused and how I wasn't allowed to do this in football, and this is why. And then I was like, "Get focused." And I sat down, and there was like a half beat or a beat of silence, and then just instantaneous, you know, applause. Yeah, that was great, you know, whatever. And so that's one of the moments that I felt awesome, and that's how Matt and I came. This
Yeah.
podcast idea was.
Is this number 5?
This is my number 6 honorable mention, which is
Oh, okay.
the 5. That was the band speech.
All right.
So number 5 for me, I realized as I was thinking about this, a lot of these have to do with theater and being on stage.
Right.
And so number 5 would be when I was making out with Meg in Little Women as Mr. Brooke, because there were 2 male roles in Little Women, and there were exactly two males that auditioned, me and Bray Wilkins.
I remember that. That's how I met you.
And that's how we met. And there was a moment where Mr. Brooke has to make out with, or not make out, but kiss. But Meg and I were already dating at the time, so Kathy was like, "All right, well, y'all go ahead."
Have at it.
So we have a full house of high school students, okay, and we're just making out. And then Meg
right in front of
is best friends. Her best friend was the light operator, so spotlight. And then the cue was just make out until you feel the lights go out, until you see the lights go out, you know.
And the
Lights didn't go out.
Go out.
So we eventually had to just get up and walk off stage. Then the lights went out. And then as I was walking off the stage, we walked through the audience to get out to the exit door. And then when I go, "Hey man, that was awesome." Man. Like high five.
You
high
know
five.
it.
Okay, but wait, the cue for you to stop
To stop making
was
out.
the lights to
The
go
lights
out.
are dim.
But how did you guys just like,
End scene.
all right, I've had enough, and then just walk away? Like, how did you
No,
do
they
that?
both went.
No.
How'd you get that off?
It was more like that. It was
And just walk off.
should we keep going? Or?
No, he goes, "Let's get a room."
Let's get a room. So that's what we did, yeah.
All right, so number 4.
Number
that's
4,
great.
I was in New Orleans, and I was on Bourbon Street, and I used to live in New Orleans, and I had an Australian friend visiting at the time, and I was like, "All right, I'll show you New Orleans, and we'll go to Bourbon Street and do all the things, right?" So my friend Amy and Nicole and I, we go down to the Cat's Meow, which is a really famous karaoke bar on Bourbon Street, and we bust up in there, and then Amy gets up and she sings "Son of a Preacher Man," and then she just got the audience really going, and it was a great song. And I was like, "I got this, I can do this." So I get up there and I put in not Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie Mercury, "Fat Bottom Girls," and right from the guitar lick with with the Fat Bottom Girls getting into it. I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad. By the time I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad. I already had the crowd in the palm of my hand. They were all. It was Saturday night. It was a bunch of drunken New Orleans tourists. But I'm telling you, for that entire song, I felt like Freddie Mercury. Yes. Because I had everybody doing this.
I love it.
Like at my command. Like I'm telling them, now tell you, now left, right. And then I got girls up on stage dancing with fat bottom girls. Came up on stage because I told them to come on up.
All day.
And we danced for a second, and I put them back down. Say, hang on, I sing, baby. And then we get back down there, and I would sing the next chorus.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. And I genuinely felt like Freddie Mercury on a small scale.
Dude, if you haven't done top 5 karaoke songs, that's another good idea.
That's a good one too.
That's
you got to do it. But you
already know what my number one is.
But you got to do it live.
Yeah.
And you got to sing it. And you got to sing it.
I don't know about that.
That's a great idea.
Number 3 is on stage as well. Young Frankenstein. There, I was performing in the lead part in Young Frankenstein, and there's a very complicated song that's almost like a rap at the very beginning. You could call me Copernicus, Kepler, Newton, compared to Freud, and I feel highfalutin. Call me a Darwin, I love the man's theory. Call me Pasteur and watch me get serious. Say, made up Curie, I'd be the best. Call me a Rorschach, I'm up to the test. I really light up when you call me Edison. Call me an air like I like it as medicine. Call me Tony, that wireless wow. Call me Pavlov, and I bark like a child. Woo, call me an Einstein, and that would be fine. Call me a Tesla, I wouldn't decline, but to call me a Frankenstein would be insane, cause I love it. And then I keep going.
Yeah.
And after I hit that really complicated, fast bit, full house, everything else, somebody, you call me a Frankenstein to be insane. Somebody goes, whoo! Like, somebody near the front row was just like, holy crap! And it came out as a big woo. And I cracked for just a second, and I was like, oh, they liked it. And then
You really liked it?
Yeah, they really liked it. It was great.
That's awesome.
It was such a fun moment. And that's another moment when I just had the whole crowd in the palm of my hand.
That reminds me of, was it in Millie? They have that, the stenographer song where they start going faster.
The Really Modern Millie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They do it in Pirates of Penzance too, but it's like I believe it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
And it's like,
it was one of those kind of moments.
Yeah.
But then the whole crowd was like, dang, that was good.
And you practice for months to try and get the wording and all that.
You get to the point where you wake up saying it. Like you're halfway through the song as you wake up. And it's unstoppable. So that's my number 3.
Yeah.
Good job.
Next, you have to try the Scat Man.
Number
Tackle that.
Number 2. Number 2, you're almost there.
Me again?
You again, yeah.
My number 2 we talked about the last week as well. The last time I was on Saturday morning at Samoflange was my first standing ovation in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers was at the end of Act 1. Okay. And then it was such a good song that we got a standing ovation mid-show, which was terrific. But then the thing I'm the most proud of and I felt the most awesome about is there's a giant 7.5 minute long singing and dancing number in the middle of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. And it's an extraordinarily complicated, if you've ever seen the movie, we did the choreography just like is in the movie because the guy who choreographed the show, Scott Bernet, was in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Like he knew Bob Fosse and did the original. He was Gideon originally in Seven Brides.
That's right.
And so he taught us the choreography that is precisely in the movie. And he didn't let up because we were like a community theater. He's like, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we did. And he drilled it into us so much that one day near the end of the run, Margie McElvey sitting up in the booth and she's running sound and her foot pulls the power cord out from the speakers underneath the sound booth. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is up there. If you've ever been up in a theater sound booth, it's dark up there, and you can't see anything. So her foot pulls the cord out, music goes out. Everything else is still going. But then we had 1 or 2 beats of like, what the heck? And then we just started, okay. And then the audience joined in, so everybody's clapping. We continue the whole song, and the music went out like 2 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah.
So for a solid 6.5 minutes, we had nothing. And we're just doing the dance.
But you had it in memory.
We had it programmed in.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. Last 30, 45 seconds of the song, they've been up there scrambling this whole time, looking like, what's going on? And then they found the plug and they plugged it in. Song came right back up. We were only 2 beats off.
Wow.
That's what I was going to ask.
It was just those 2 beats.
That's awesome.
We were like,
that's awesome. That's really good.
And I'm telling you, if you're on stage and you look up at the sound booth, you typically can't see anything, right?
Yeah.
But Scott Bernet was up in that booth, and I'm telling you, he was beaming so bright with pride that he shone like a light from that sound booth. We were thrilled. That was such an incredible. Like that's when I knew I could do anything on stage. It felt like it's like doesn't matter what
awesome
moment. We absolutely there's nothing that scares me choreography wise or musical wise. After I can do that, like, and I know I can do it. It's great. I'll do
Right.
anything now.
There you go.
It's great. So that was an awesome moment for sure. We still talk about
that.
it.
That is a good awesome moment.
And that was the day we recorded it, so we have proof. Like
oh,
it's on video.
wow.
That was the one
How
performance we
fortunate.
recorded, so no one can argue with this
There you
story.
go.
Like, I can prove it to you if you don't
Awesome.
believe me.
Awesome. Well, my number one. I mentioned this story before on several podcasts, I'm sure. The one time I hit a home run. I really love baseball. I really sucked at baseball. The ball hit me more than I hit it. And during a game, remember when West Monroe had the 18 and older league?
Yeah.
But it was hardball too.
Yeah,
It was softball.
Yeah, no.
But it only lasted 2 years because unless you have the arm or the knees, you can't. There's no pitchers or catchers.
Forget it.
And the thing is, there's a guy. He was younger. He played catcher for several teams because there was not any of those old people who could get down on their knees like that. And they wanted me to make me a catcher, but I was left-handed. So I became a pitcher, and we were the worst team in the league, but I was a pitcher. And so in the tournament, all 8 teams got to play each other. So the number 1 team was playing the last place team, us. And so we were actually winning because I was throwing the ball high. And if you throw the ball high, I noticed that he was calling strikes high, the ump was. But plus, when you hit it, it was a pop-up.
You read the room.
Yeah, it was a pop-up.
Okay.
So I was like, I can throw high. Well, after a couple of innings, though, the ninth inning, we're up I think it's oh man, let me think about this. I think it was 5-0. I was like, this is great.
You were blanking.
And yeah, we were. And then in the 9th inning, I gave up 6 back-to-back home runs.
Home runs?
The ball started dropping, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was getting tired.
6 home
And
runs.
I was so upset because now it's 6-5. Now we get one last at bat, and that's the game.
Okay.
And I remember just being mortified. And my coach was like, hey, man, we did really good. We weren't even supposed to get this close to them. I was like, yeah, but I'm the reason. It wasn't that people made errors. It wasn't that people were too fast. We couldn't throw them out. It's that I was lobbing it in there, and they were just taking me deep.
That's the coach's
and it's
fault.
just me.
That's right.
Well, no one wanted to pitch because after I think the 4th ball, I looked over at him. He's like, mm-mm. And the 5th one, I looked at, I said, come here. And so he called time. He watched. He said, what? I went, oh, take me off the mound. He went, hey man, I gotta be honest. No one wants to pitch these guys, so you go ahead and do it. I was like, oh.
That surprises me because usually left-handed pitchers just do well.
Well, yeah, but it was me. Thanks. But anyway, thank you, Ranikin, for congratulations on 400.
There you go.
But anyway, so what happened was we got to bat, 2 outs. Guy got a double, and then the coach goes, see if he scores, it's tied up, and he said if we tie it up, I'll pitch. I was like, okay. Well, then the next 2 guys struck out, and then it's me. And I do not hit the ball. If I do, I get a single, maybe.
There's no designated hitter happening.
And I kept fouling the ball off because the pitcher's too fast. I can't hit it. I'm fouling off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, finally, one goes low and inside, and I golf swing it up. And I'm so disappointed. So I throw my bat down, but that gets you ejected. So I just started running. It was the last out, so it didn't matter. And when I hit first, everyone went crazy.
What?
And so that means, I guess, the right fielder
Must have missed
The ball, right?
So I took off to second, and I had some speed on me. So I took off to second. I'm gonna get in scoring position, maybe get this, game 1 instead of tied up. And when I got to second, no one's throwing, so I just rounded the corner, went to third. I was like, I'm gonna get to third base, and my coach is screaming. I'm like, where's the ball? I'm trying to look behind me, and the right fielder's sitting down. And I thought, dude rolled his ankle, and now center field has to run all.
You weren't thinking that you
never knew I hit a home run until I hit third base. And I was like, wait, did the ball go over? Did it go over? Did it go under the fence? Is it ground rule? I didn't know I hit a home run until I hit third base and then, walked in. And then it was like real big because the other teams were watching because they were about to play next.
Right.
And so to see the number 1 team go down, everyone's cheering.
Oh, everybody's like,
that's a big
we
moment.
have to play those guys.
And we got killed in the next game, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but dude, tell me they cleared the bench and you got like the whole.
Oh, it was a bit. Yeah, it was everyone came out of the dugout.
I love it.
And celebrated. And we
love it.
won. That was And I remember I still have the baseball. I should have gotten it. It's downstairs. And it said home run ball number 1, like I was going to lose count. And it said
Which home run was that?
It said 6 to 7. It says the date, and then I have something like 460, whatever.
Man.
If that fence was 365 yards, it went 365 and 2 inches.
But
I bet it barely cleared.
That counts though.
But I said something like 400 feet. I was like,
that counts. That is
Barry
still a home
Bonds
run.
Still a home run. Still a home run.
That's
But I went deep.
I can
Wow.
totally
My 1 home run.
I can totally
I
relate
felt
to that.
awesome.
Because
I would be
I
awesome.
played baseball a lot when I was younger, and I wanted to be good at it too, but it just wasn't. Matter of fact, I did have a record for being on base the most, but it's because I was always hit by the ball.
I was I was hit by the ball a lot too because I was left-handed, and they didn't know how to throw the left-handed.
I wasn't.
And I got hit all the time.
I think I just had a really big head, and they like to hit me.
I think that it's funny. I would have loved to have watched you run the bases. That would have been like the most frantic home run.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was running as fast as I could because I wanted to get in scoring position. And when I rounded second, I knew I was going to be diving head first in the third. I was like
it's
if
about to
I
go
can
down.
get to third
But you
base
think
and they get a
about-
base hit, we've
Yeah.
won the game.
You're
You
like,
think
I'm
about,
about
like,
to,
yeah.
I'm about to take out the third baseman.
Yeah.
Right?
But you think
I
about like when
was.
people like when you hit the home run, you know, and you're like, yeah.
And I
gonna
was
take that
screaming at the
throw.
coach, "Where's the ball?"
That's like,
and he's
there's
doing
no
this,
way.
he's doing this. I'm going, "Where's the ball? Where's the ball?" And I'm running, like looking around. And when I hit the third base, I just kind of paused and said, "Did I hit it over?" And everyone's like, slapped me on the back.
You did it.
You did it. I was like, "What?" And you know that the natural score, na na na,
Yeah.
na na na, na na. I didn't have that big slow motion trot.
Didn't need it.
Tip my cap, kiss my girlfriend at home plate. There was no one there.
But you can. But
There was no
yeah.
spotlight that wouldn't go out.
I would have been there.
Yeah, you would have been there waiting for me at home. There you
Oh,
go.
man.
All right.
I do remember one year I was playing baseball. I broke my left arm, and I thought that I was going to be like rookie of the year. I prayed. I was like, I'm going to my arms. I'm going to be able to go.
And then when you didn't, you were like funky butt loving.
Exactly.
Butt loving.
I was like, it's time. I got my cast. Of course, it was my left hand, so it didn't matter. But and I was actually training to be a pitcher, and I was actually throwing pretty quick for an 11-year-old. I think I was hitting like
That's
80 miles an hour,
That's
which is
awesome.
pretty good, 70 something like that. Which is
good.
pretty good for a
That's
12-year-old.
very good.
And I was like, practicing all year, but I was too short, so they didn't want to put me in the pitcher now. And then I said, "Funky butt loving."
That's exactly what you
Say
say
it
too.
too. But joke's on them because I could take a hit.
There you go. Number one.
Ribs of steel.
Number one for you, sir.
Should I do an honorable mention? I feel like y'all got
Yeah,
honorable
yeah,
mentions.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do an honorable mention. Do your number one. Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple of honorable mentions. One theater honorable mention was a really high note that I hit in a show that I don't think anyone but me liked.
Was it Les Mis?
No, it wasn't Les Mis. It was All Shook Up. I think everyone hated that show.
All Shook Up.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
and I still don't know why they casted me as the lead, but they did.
But you hit the note.
I hit this one that goes way up there, and I hit it, and I felt really good about it.
That's
I don't think
True
anybody
story. They
but me
lowered
would-
one of my songs an octave.
An
Because I
octave.
couldn't a whole octave lower because I couldn't hit the high notes.
Yeah.
I Believe in You. How's it see?
That
Oh,
show,
yeah.
when I think about the show, it really was a train wreck. I was doing some kind of dance move, and my shoe fell off my foot, and the shoe hit somebody in the audio. True story. True
They were
story.
all shook up.
They were indeed. They were indeed.
Oh,
All right.
shoot up.
Any other honorable mentions?
Let me
for your
think.
number one?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I get the vibe of knowing that. I finally hit that note. I know what you mean.
Yes.
With that, yeah.
I don't know. Like my number one's probably a dead giveaway, just being as.
Go ahead.
But
Yeah.
another honorable mention I have
Being here today is
is
your number one.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
I did a lot of martial arts when I was a kid, and I landed a really complicated kick and won a tournament.
No way.
For
That's
a point.
awesome.
And it was Taekwondo, so everybody just kicks.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
And so I did this one kick move that was like I don't know what the name of it is, but it was like a flamboyant, like, really
Something
flashy
from Street
kick.
Fighter 2 for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I went, but no, I did. The guy had, it was almost like Karate Kid. We were point sparring, and the guy was 2
No.
points in. I managed to sneak one in, and then I got one. My last point was like this tornado kick to the
Excellent.
head.
Something
And I
Sean
got
Lee
my
would be
points.
proud of. You.
I was so proud of
wow. That's
And I
cool.
won. I
Train
took home the
kick
trophy.
moment.
I took home the
I
trophy.
would have felt awesome with that too.
I felt pretty damn awesome.
Wow.
Did the guy you defeated hand you the trophy? You're all right, go Trey.
You're all right. You're all right.
No, but I did.
Okay.
The whole way home, I was going, Kumite, Kumite.
I
was ready to take on Charlie.
Hold on. This is an honorable mention.
I
Yeah,
know.
that would have been my
That
number
would've been
one.
mine.
But, so the thing about it is the
I would
kick
have
that I
dreamed.
did.
I wish I did that.
I still dream about
The
that.
kick that I did was inspired by I watched Bloodsport like that year before, and you know that kick that when he after he gets blinded and he's like and then he does that kick like 3 times and he misses Chong Li like 3
Go ahead.
times. I practiced that in the living room
You did
over and
not.
over, and I did. I ended up pulling off a kick like that. And
Dang.
it probably
That's
looked more like I was having a spaz attack and my foot landed on
Look,
the guy's head.
doesn't
But I got
matter.
the point, and
Doesn't
I won.
matter.
Frank Dukes would be proud.
Good job. What's number one? I need to get some
Brought
the
number
trophy
one thing
home.
off. So
Wow.
go ahead. Give me number one.
Number one
I'm
is,
listening.
dude, nothing can top it, man. Being a dad.
Oh, you're gonna show me up.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Nothing compares to
All
me.
right.
That's true.
To me.
Go on. I'm still childless.
My awesome story.
Tell me why I need children.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why this was awesome is because, and really it was more of a story of my wife's perseverance, but she was in labor for like 26 hours. It was brutal, and I was up with her the whole time, and I was doing everything to try to make her feel better. Like, you know, I can't possibly fathom the amount of pain she's going through, right?
It's hard enough being awake 26 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
Going through that.
Just in the bed, and then you know, of course, my daughter in utero is like spazzing out, gets the umbilical cord wrapped around, and all that kind of crap.
Wow.
But yeah, we were late. She was laboring for about 26 hours, and like it was brutal. And the reason why I feel awesome is that story was right in the middle. Her water broke right in the middle. Do you remember those flood storms we were having in 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was flooded. And like even back where we lived in West Monroe, like roads were flooded, and she went into labor right in the middle because people were off work and everything. Like you couldn't get anywhere.
Wow.
And it's like where we live, there was a big thing of water. Like there's like 2 or 3 inches of water. And I remember driving home earlier that day, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to work tomorrow. So they let us go home early.
I know where this is going.
And so we went driving. You know, she wakes me up at 2:30 a.m. She's like, it's time. I was like, okay, get the back, go. And so we get in the car. We're driving, and I can't tell you why, but the water puddle, because it had not stopped raining. It was gone.
What?
And so I went straight through. I made it to the interstate. I'm driving like 85 miles an hour. It was still raining. I didn't get any kind of hydroplane, nothing.
No.
Wow,
Like
look at
really
you.
tired, driving with one bloodshot eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're getting there. And I made it. I went really, really fast.
That's awesome.
I feel like we got there in like 2 minutes, even though we lived like 15 minutes away.
Right.
And I remember she was laboring. I was trying to sing to her, make her feel better. And she finally, I remember when she ended up having to have a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to do had to go into this operating room and everything like that. And I was not. They were like, "You want to come watch?" I'm like, "Why would you ask me that?
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah.
It's like, we got a special spot. Look, and it was funny. They had like a pillow over there. And I was like, "What's that pillow for?" "Oh, it's a joke
for you.
because when they pass out, yeah." I was like, "That's not gonna be me, friend, because I'm not watching."
Yeah.
So, anyways, but then but we had the baby, and it was my firstborn, Penny, and I just kind of culminate just being a dad. It's the most awesome thing I could possibly do. And that moment, just getting there, because every time before that was scheduled. Like it wasn't like my water broke, we have to go.
Right.
Every baby after that was scheduled.
Oh, okay, I got
Right.
you. Yeah.
But that one, I remember every one of my kids being born, but I remember that one being especially standout just because of it being.
You do remember your first
in the middle of a flood, and
there was a lot of panic leading up to it and everything else.
Yes.
When was the moment you felt awesome?
Man, I don't know. It all kind of, I think just when it was over and I held
In the
Penny.
hospital?
Yeah.
When
In
you
the
held
hospital
it?
when I
Yeah.
held Penny.
When you held the baby.
When I
that's
held
when you
Penny
did.
and when I knew Emily was safe. And
She's
everything.
okay.
Yeah,
We
everyone's
effing
good.
did this.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I drove through the puddle. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was lots of water everywhere. Matter of fact, her OB doctor couldn't even make it. She was flooded.
What?
The,
Oh, wow.
the person who was going to deliver Penny, like
Wasn't
everything was going
wow,
wrong.
Wow.
And but yeah, I felt awesome because I helped her keep it together. I hadn't eaten anything.
Wow.
Everybody told me to eat and everything.
So
but
fast music playing all the way up until this moment.
up until that moment,
Wow.
and then we had
That's
it, and that was
great.
it. And so, like, I think later on I ran out into the parking lot and I experienced the quickening. I did. I was every dad before me passed on his knowledge.
Every dad before you pass.
Yeah.
on.
Oh, my
And I
gosh.
just the quickening, and then I
That's
suddenly didn't need sleep.
That's terrific.
and
That's
then-
great. I love it.
Yeah, I haven't told you this, but we do have to fight sword fight later.
Stay tuned
there
for
can only
episode
be one.
401.
That's right. I'm kidding. There
you
can
go.
be several dads.
Yes.
But no, that has to be that has to be
Oh,
one.
I thought you meant something else when you said sword fight. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Thought like the good old days. All
I
right.
w- I
Anyway.
would
Doesn't
never
matter how
go
many
there.
episodes. Sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, so anyway,
Yeah.
you never
My
cross
number
the
one?
streams. Yes, number
Are we
one.
done?
Yes.
So when I lived in Oregon, and I don't know if I can really rate these as a number one, but this is my first story that came to mind. I lived in Oregon. I was working as the district regional manager for a company, in-home computer repair company called Nerds On Call.
Oh, okay.
And they were formed, they're still on the West Coast, big company, and they were formed because the Geek Squad from Best Buy was so bad. and they left such a wake of broken computers behind them that this guy, Ryan Eldridge was his name, he created his own company. He's like, hey, you had the Geek Squad over and they screwed it up. I got guys that'll fix it for you. And so basically that's how it started. And so they're not cheap. They were not cheap at all. But they warranted all their work. And so, and if it was broken and you fix, and it was still, if you fixed it, it was broken the next day, you came back over and you fixed it for free. So there was a motivation to do it right first time, right? So it wasn't like cheap, wasn't the cheapest thing in town, but it was warranted and we stood by what
Good enough. Yeah.
So every week, as I was living in Eugene, Oregon, and I was the regional manager over Oregon and Washington State, we were having this competition or something like that. And then I was in the middle of training a new guy and all this other stuff. Well, I had a couple of really big jobs to start the week. And the average, I think, total weekly income, because it's a full commission job. So you take home 20% of everything. You don't get paid anything except commission. So I took home 20% of everything I sold.
Wow.
And the average, I think, for the week was around $3,000 to $4,000 a week. And then you would take home 20% of that. That's about average for most techs, right? It was a good job if you worked hard, and there was plenty of demand for it. And then one week I hit $2,000 or $3,000 when I was training, like within the first day or 2 days. And I was like, dang, this is a good week. Next day I get a huge job come in as another $4,000 done. And I'm like, it was a big server build or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I quoted him this and he's like, do it. And I was like, okay. Done. So I was there all night. Got it done that night, came back to work the next day. And then they were like, hey, well, you're up 8,000 now. That's a new record for the week. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And they're like, but it doesn't matter unless you hit 10. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And yeah, I was like, I broke the record for the week, the all-time record for
I'm
years.
altering the deal. Pray I don't
Gary
alter
Glenn
it.
Ross over here.
Exactly. It was Glenn Gary Glenn Ross. And this is we didn't do our own calls or own leads. Like we had a call center in California that would schedule things for us. So my handler in California, she was sending me out on calls, and she's like, it doesn't matter. You got to get out there. You got to get 10. And I was like, fine, Christy, let's do it. Look, come on, just give it to me then. And then I'd take the new guy on training. We hit another $1,000 day. And I'm like, dang, I'm at 9,000 now. And then we had another call. And then on Friday, I had to go out to freaking BFE, had 2 calls. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be so close, but I'm not going to get it. But then I picked up an emergency call. And then I picked up another call where the guy needed his stereo system. And guess what my trainee was focused in? Sound and audio equipment.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, you stay here and do this. I'm gonna go do this other.
Go on across town, do that one.
And so I went across town and left my newbie there. And then I pitched them everything. So I gotta do this and this and this, and then we're taken care of in 1 hour. And they're like, all right, go ahead. So I said, cool. I'll just give me a minute. And I sit there and I start running some commands, and then I hit the numbers, and I was punching everything up, and I was like, do. Holy crap, I did it. I didn't even realize I was that close. And I tallied it all up, and I hit 10,000. I called Christy and was like, hey, you owe me so much right now. And so it felt great. And that was a really exciting moment. But the best part was that it was the day before our company-wide Christmas party. So the very next day, the next Saturday, everybody in the whole company was driving down to Northern California, wherever it was, to all have a big party. And then by that time, word had spread that Benjamin had not just broken the record, but broken like 10,000 in the single week. And then as soon as I got there, man, I had to pee so bad because it was a long drive. But it didn't matter because, look, let me tell you. Because you know when you have to, this is the reason it was my number one maybe. Because you know when you have to pee really bad, it's the only thing on your mind.
It's all you can think about.
It's all you can think about. That's true. So I got into the building where we were having the party, and then I ran face to face with the owner, Ryan Eldridge himself. He comes, and he's the first person I see, and he looks at me, and he lit up, and he goes, Mr. 10,000! And it was like my new nickname.
Yeah,
so,
Mr. 10,000.
I didn't have to pee again for another half hour. Yeah, it was great. So
the bladder's like, we can wait.
We're good. You do your thing. I'll hold this.
So after that moment, I was Mr. 10,000 in the company. And I'm
That's
telling
really
you,
awesome, actually.
anytime I have needed a motivational moment in my life, or I've had to like, okay, I got this, you know, and I'm trying to conjure something good in my life, Mr. 10,000, that moment has always been the moment
That's
that
awesome.
like, I can do this. You know, it's very much something that charges me up because I was able to do that. And it used, like that whole week was a testament to all of the skills that I had learned. It was a server build, audio build, training, everything I was doing, and it all culminated to that, and it was so terrific.
I love it.
So that was a really great.
Good one.
I never not feel awesome when I think about that.
There's no way I would have held it though. He was the Mr. 10,000, like, all of it.
That would have been a different, not as
Mr.
awesome.
10,000. Now we're gonna call you Mr. Cleanup,
That's
Mr. Pee Pee
That
Pants.
would have been a very different story. That's awesome.
That is a good story. That is a good story. All right, folks. Well, that is our top 5 times that we felt awesome. In the comments below, let us know
Please.
when were times that you felt awesome.
This is great. Please share these.
Yeah.
Share as much as possible.
Yes. Share. We do read the comments and everything. We appreciate that. Thank you for 400. And thank you, Mikey, for moving a TV instead of coming here. We appreciate that too. And we'll see you next time on Saturday
morning.
Sam